Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James on the Brink, and we are one community. And so today we're going to be talking about a couple of games coming out. Last of Us Part 1 for the PC, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and the Deck Revealed project. The progress, I'll show off some progress. And honestly, it's looking pretty good. We're going to wait for, because I just created the thing. We'll wait for some peeps to trickle on in. And so just, if you're watching this after it's gone live, you're more than welcome to stick around. Fast forward probably up to 5 minutes. I just wanted to get started early. And I'm going to look for, I need to look for a USB thing. But if you have come in already, welcome. Hey, Wolf. Wolf has a blue icon. Well, that is good. Does that mean that 3 months now? 2 months? 2 months. I think it's 2 months. So you're on your second month. Come on. Where is it? I don't know where my somewhere. I have the USB thing that I need to find. Let's say so. Welcome, Wolf. Welcome, A Dark Night. I was going to potentially play the Steam Deck while we chat today, as I've been really digging playing some stuff, and I want to honestly start doing some more videos on some games highlights. Wolf, they have their 2 month icon too. Yes. I have a bunch of different icons, up to like a lot, as much as they allowed. So, Butterscotch pudding, welcome. You made it. Maybe it's because I started a little early. I don't know, but welcome. How you doing? Don't mind me. I'm looking for something. Got back from a trip, and so a lot of my cables got a little mixed up, and so I'm looking for the capture card. Haha. Never mind, found it. Okay, cool. So, how is everyone doing today? You guys doing well? Pretty good few weeks. We're about to hit springtime, and I'm excited. I've never had a winter hit me so hard. And I've lived in Russia, but then again, I've been working nonstop. Kind of. I mean, worked on content for the channel too. Don't mind me. Okay. Oh yeah, for the membership for like the members only part of Games Revealed, I did my unboxing for my games or for my Dead Space collector's edition, and this is it right here. This is the and I mentioned it a little bit, but the more and more I look at this, the more and more I'm like, this is it's very heavy, very cheaply made, in the sense of like they couldn't line it up very well. Like it's in 2 pieces, and if you saw it in person, it's a joke. I mean, I have this one which could have been painted better, but it's at least one piece. If you care about Dead Space, we'll get into other stuff. Just making sure people trickle on in. Chad, Cat, and Bebe, welcome, welcome, welcome. Raichi, we should all play the Steam Deck while watching the stream. Yes, honestly, we still need to do that, Wolf. Oh, do I sound laggy? Okay. Let me make sure. Yeah, it definitely looks like there could be something going on. Let's see. Auto adjust mic. I don't think I wanted to auto adjust, but how's it sound? I don't know why it'd be laggy. Stop video, start video. Unmute, see. Oh, really? I just did that on purpose. That time. I don't know why it would lag. I think. Yeah. Oh. Wait, what? Hold on. Wireless controller. I don't know how that one's possible. What? Don't mind me. I'm going to double check something. If you can still hear me, then yeah, there's something wrong. Okay, we're going to get this fixed. Just give me a second. It's not hooking up to the right thing. It says wireless controller, which I don't even know what that means. Like, it's a PS5 controller over there. I think that'd sound like crap. This isn't going to sound good either. This is going to come out from my headset. What? In the... Oh. Yeah. Hold on. There we go. That should sound normal now. Okay, sorry about that. So the problem is that my USB hub the power got disconnected. Okay, so if you weren't here for it, Lowjack, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are talking about Dead Space, Last of Us, and not Dead Space, Last of Us, Resident Evil 4, and Deck Reveal Project. It's going to be probably a little bit shorter of a video today, as I'm out of it. I don't know what's going on with me. Probably kids keeping me up. So, and too much caffeine. What we're gonna do first off, let's I want to show a really cool channel that does documentaries on games. I love it. And then we're going to Miranda on and then talk about these games coming out. We'll relate them to Steam Deck. We'll relate them to whatever. We'll talk about the deck rebuild. If you want, we can play the Steam Deck while we talk about it. I get a little distracted, so it'd be a little harder for me to play and chat about some of these things. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into these subjects. Then with whatever time we have left, we will chat about whatever you guys want to talk about, including these topics. Gonna be a little bit more chill of a day. Unfortunately, I know I do these more often than I probably should, but instead of canceling because I'm just not feeling 100%, I just wanted to hang out with you guys. So, okay. First up, let's talk about The Last of Us. I am going to share my screen. So just give me 1 second. I do have to say, let's up in a different browser, not my personal. I just don't want that to be there. Okay. We are getting there, guys. Dark Quilts, welcome. No, I do scripts every once in a while, Dark Quilter. I technically have one. It's just a very high level. What some people consider a script is a fully written out piece. I know YouTubers that say that. I'm not. I don't read full scripts. I do talking points. Today's is just going to be a different day, as reasons. But I do usually do some type of scripts for my videos. I don't usually just go out into just the wilderness with them. Typically, with these streams, it's a hit or miss whether I do it. Doesn't make it right, but Caitlin, hello, cat, and baby. Baby says hi. Yeah. So, first up, I know we've talked about this a few times. Yeah, Wolf doesn't like full scripts. Yeah, I don't. A full script doesn't make sense for stream. Obviously, you'd have talking points or scripted points that you talk about typically. And then inside of depending on how complex the video is, the more scripted it kind of becomes. I've never really done full scripts except for in a few circumstances, and it was hell. I'd rather just not do it. Dark Quilts. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what's a script to you then? That's not. I don't do full scripts. I've already tried. I'm doing more and more honed scripts, but that also gives me anxiety more and more on all the stuff I have to get done, and that's another reason why videos aren't getting done, and more app stuff's getting done. So if you guys are getting more app like Deck Revealed, if you like Deck Revealed, I do that more because anxiety does not affect me there. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you this clip, and we're going to talk about The Last of Us and what we're expecting. Share this with you. Slides, interesting. Did not know that this can do slides. Okay. And let's see here. So the reason I want to show you this, like, we're not going to watch the whole thing. I just want to show you, like, this is obviously probably fully scripted, as that's the whole point. There's a documentary and everything. This is one of my favorite channels. So if you have not checked this out, they've done stuff on Half-Life. They've done stuff on various amounts of different games, and they go out of their way. I'm really shocked that they don't have like a couple of million. They're one of the best. No Clip is one of the best, kind of like video game documentaries channels and videos out there. So Dark Quilts, it's much easier. I will say this, just the top. Terrible pond, but you tried it. Raichi, what's terrible pond? And you guys are more than welcome to always shout out to me. If there's stuff that you want to chat about, more than welcome to ask, whatever. We might not get to it at this second, but more than welcome. Writing a script is a lot more difficult than you'd think. A good script. Okay. Let's see here.
So, I don't know about you, but my 2023 bingo card didn't have a 10-year-old video game being the biggest pop culture hit of the year. But that's exactly
if you can hear this, it's great. If not,
thanks in no small part to the incredible success of its HBO adaptation. In light of this, the decision to remake The Last of Us Part 1 last year makes a lot more sense than it did, At the time, there was a healthy dose of skepticism as to who exactly needed a full reskinning of The Last of Us in the technology of its contentious sequel. It seemed like a lot of work for a game that fans appeared more than happy to boot up on the already available PS4 remaster. Well, obviously Naughty Dog were anticipating a market for new and returning players of that original game. And let's be honest, the graphical fidelity of The Last of Us Part 2 hasn't exactly helped the original in aging gracefully. In any case, this gave us an opportunity to talk
2
to
was
Naughty
good.
Dog about this remake. And you know we love talking about remakes on NoClip, be it Demon's Souls, Black Mesa, or a cross-country babysitting game. It's because remakes are the rare opportunity where we, the player, are familiar with both the end product and the source material, in this case, the original PS3 version. It allows us to get an understanding of how design decisions were made.
So we're not gonna watch this whole thing, so don't worry. I just really want to showcase how cool this is. You should go watch it. I'll throw it into chat or whatever to finish it. But I will say, there's a scripted, kind of different content though.
As we compare and contrast where they
Like
started and where they ended up. So last month we traveled down to Naughty Dog in Santa Monica to talk to a handful of the project leads about the work that went into creating The Last of Us Part 1, how they rebuilt levels from the ground up in the new engine, how they utilized modern lighting and animation tech to modernize Joel and Ellie.
We'll get into
the
that
work
too.
that went into making sure AI and gameplay felt in tune with the original, and honestly a bunch of design challenges that never even crossed our minds. Maybe you're new to this series, maybe you've never touched these games, so we're going to keep this as spoiler-free as humanly possible and only show gameplay from the first opening third of that first game. We're going to talk about a lot.
Okay, Speed Baby. There's a bug with resume movies. Resume, so okay. Really? I did not know that. Turn off wake on wake, or resume if you get black screen after sleep mode. Interesting. I'm not surprised. I feel like that's not a surprising bug. Chad, Cat, and Baby. Yeah, let's get into Redfall actually after a bunch of the stuff, and we'll go into that. And there's a huge, big, honestly, a few things on that. You're 100% right on that, Chad. Let's talk about Redfall after these other things. Welcome, Foom Booter. Welcome. Okay.
Though, from AI to art, from game design to graphics, sound, and much, much more. But to start, let's go back to the beginning and ask, why did this project get greenlit in the first place, and how did the team initially approach it?
So, it's just like a typical documentary. They have a lot of different
intimate, it's human scale. It's about
going over like and Black Mesa one is really good. Their no clip Black Mesa one's really good because there's a lot of like you just don't know about the development of that and how close they were with Half-Life or Valve, that is the Valve team. And they were eventually acquired by Valve to make it internally. So this though is really good in that they'll go out, they'll interview different people of the team, different individuals, and they can go pretty far. Like the Black Mesa one had teammates that are a little bit further out. They weren't all at one location to interview and figure out stuff about the game. So if you're really into like entertaining, because it is fun to watch, like I like documentaries, but this is just really interesting on how it's made. So I just wanted to throw that out. We don't need to watch any more of this. We can continue chatting about The Last of Us Part 1. Oh yeah, thank you, Wolf. We can play it without the sound on and just chat if we want, just because it gives you some background. So The Last of Us Part 1 is going to have a couple of niceties to it. Let's not. Okay, sorry. I just need to get a reference real quick. It's going to have. And this is thanks to Castcoder. And I've been keeping my eye out for updates too, but reported it in the Games Revealed Discord server. The Last of Us Part 1 is going to have unlocked frame rates, meaning the frame rates, it could go 144, whatever amount of FPS you want, you can get it to go up there if you can get a GPU that will run it. Then it's going to have FSR2, which is a really good thing for Steam Deck. It's going to be, well, I should say FSR2 support. It's going to allow for the game to be scaled down even further and have, you can go between quality or speed, performance, that is, performance quality, and you can do these toggles typically with it. That's going to allow us to, I really do think Last of Us Part 1 is going to work on the Steam Deck. I think it's going to work at, I think we're going to get 30 frames per second steady with FSR2 at medium. I think we're going to get medium. I think it's going to look really good on the deck. Part of the reason is they've always been able to really, really make this game look good on like the PlayStation 3. Between the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 was when the Last of Us Part 1, or just The Last of Us, was released. Not the Part 1, kind of technically it becomes the remake. With that game, it looked so good even for the PS3. They really inched out every little detail they could on it. And then in the PS4, they did even more. So at the end of the day, I really do think the Steam Deck, it's just it's an optimized game. I don't think they're going to have to do, and part of it is that it's a walking movie in some ways. There's shooting, there's some combat. I do think people forget how much combat and different ways you can kind of do the combat, but there's a lot to it in the sense of there's cinematics, there's scripted events, there's stuff that they've controlled a lot of. And the little pieces that aren't fully controlled are combat events with a few of the zombies in areas that they've optimized. At the end, really, when you're playing this game, I've had very little issues on PlayStation or on Part 1, the original. Well, I haven't played Part 1 yet, but the original and Part 2. Part 2 on the PlayStation 5. I think it was on the PlayStation 5. No, it was on, I can't remember which, it was PS4 or PS5. I can't remember. It played great. It had a little bit of hiccups, but it looked so good and it played great. So Last of Us, Uncharted is a little choppy on the deck. Uncharted is a little different. It has a lot more fast-paced motions to it, a lot more especially in the beginning where it has those big particle effects with the waves and everything. And that is a Naughty Dog game. This game has closer quarters, very controlled, and it has always been a better performing game, in my opinion, than the Uncharted. While the Uncharted are really optimized for their systems, I think this one's going to play really well on the deck. Now, you could correct me if you want, and that is totally fine. But I do think that this game is going to play really well on the deck. I am curious what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is going to play well on the deck? Do you think we're going to have to wait and see? I mean, that's always going to have to be, we're going to have to wait and see. It's just from prediction and from what we've seen in the past with how Naughty Dog runs this game and how well it's optimized. I'd just be really surprised if it doesn't. Let's see. Foombooter, OG Last of Us turned my PS3 into a furnace. Yeah, but to be fair, what intensive game didn't turn the PS3 into a furnace? The PS3 was a loud mother effer. And so oh, Raichi, you're an Xbox player, play on the SX, but damn, the exclusives run so amazing. My old PS4, yeah. Bisexual Blurred, welcome. So, yeah, I really do think that this is going to be running at medium. FSR is going to help us with that. That's why it's really cool to see that the FSR is going to look beautiful if you play if you do play this though, and it's your first time through, and you do have a more beefy computer, I would recommend playing this on your beefy computer with the settings turned up all the way as high as you can, running at between 30 and 40. This is one of those games where it is nice to run higher at 60, but visually, I don't know. Visually, when you can get the cityscapes, the landscapes, the backgrounds into the video, or into your gameplay, it helps. The atmosphere in this game is breathtaking, and if you watch the show, exact same thing. They did such a good job. That's one of the most important things in this game. I know people might disagree with that, but it's the environments, the settings that you get, and how otherworldly while still being in our world. What would our world look like in 20 years, right? With overgrowth and everything. It is very fascinating, along with the social interactions. And then you have zombies, or they don't like to call them zombies, but So we don't need to go much further into the Dead Space stuff. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. The Last of Us, I was wrapping up a Dead Space review today that I technically had gotten done a little bit ago. And so um The Last of Us is going to be worth playing. I'm curious, out of all of you guys, who's going to be, are you playing on the Steam Deck? Are you just shout it out into the comments? Are you going to play this on Steam Deck? You playing this on PC, or you just already had it for the PS5 and played it there? Or have you played it? Was it for the PS4 also? I can't remember. Boombooter, I haven't seen the show, but I watched a lot of episode breakdowns. Might buy the first season when it releases. The first season is out for pre-order, by the way. If you want the Blu-ray, it has some special stuff on it. Kat, you have it on the PS4. You probably have the original, not the, or you might have the remake. Okay, so there's a remaster and there's a remake. I have the remaster. I don't have the remake. And I specifically waited for the remaster for the PlayStation, or for the Steam Deck and PC, because I know that I want to play it on the go. It's one of those games where I will probably beat it on the PC first, or play it on and off between the PC and the Steam Deck while I'm playing my first playthrough. Yeah, that was one of the controversies. I know a lot of people didn't like that. So with The Last of Us Part 1, there was the original remaster, and then there's a remake. It's really weird. So you have the original PlayStation 3, then you have the PlayStation 4 version, then you have the PlayStation 4 remastered version, which might have also been on PS5 or just worked on PS5 with some upgrades. Then you have the Last of Us Part 1, which is a remake. And I haven't seen a whole lot of it. I just didn't want, I don't like ruining things for me, even though I should probably ruin it more, but it's because I cover stuff like this. So I can talk about it more. From my understanding, it didn't change a whole lot. And so people were very skeptical. Why put the time and energy into something like this and not actually change it a whole lot? Same thing with Dead Space. It's a weird one. Dead Space changed graphically and controls wise and removed essentially what they did was they did maintenance on Dead Space. From my understanding, there's a lot of maintenance done on the Last of Us Part 1. It does look really good. I think it was worth it at the end of the day, as long as they don't screw it up. It doesn't sound like they screwed it up. Some people always like to do the weird thing, but it's a maintenance thing. So the game can continue to be played in the future and not have those controls be wonky. Because Dead Space 1 remake, it definitely plays really well. I might have a harder time now going back to the original. In fact, when I went from Dead Space 1 remake and I beat it 2 times, then I went and started playing Dead Space 2. It was difficult, to be fair, because our evolution of how gameplay and mechanics work for those types of games have evolved so much over the past 10, 15 years that it's kind of crazy how much better they can just, improve the formula. Just little things. Raichi, remasters are complicated with Sony. I'm still waiting for a remaster of the remake of HD remaster of the original PS2 Shadow of the Colossus. Oh my god. Yeah. So great call out there, Raichi. So, honestly, Shadow of the Colossus on the Steam Deck would be like a dream come true. I love that game. And I guess, okay. I want to, and the reason why is I've played, so they've made a remastered, or no, they made an HD version on the PlayStation 3, right? I think I have played a slightly better version of it, or maybe a remake. I don't know. All I know is you could probably emulate it on the Steam Deck, but I'd like a PC version. I mean, just like anyone else, potentially. I don't like dealing with the emulators as much as I like things being ported over to the PC, as opposed to emulating. That's a fun game. If you can play that on the Steam Deck, it'd be amazing. So I will just have to say that right now. Okay, let's move on to Resident Evil. And the reason why I want to say let's move on to Resident Evil 4 is because that's the thing that's coming out this week. I've heard a lot of good things. I've what? The fan who spent 8 years making an HD mod for Resident Evil 4 now has an industry job. Oh, cool. So they hired him on. Okay, sorry. I know I'm not showcasing that. Let's see here. Just we'll get some like background or something going on here while we chat about it. So it's a little laggy. And then you're gonna get so which, and I'm curious which. Okay, Andre, just a quick hello and good night to all. Off to bed. Hey, thanks, Andre, for stopping by. You're awesome. I am curious with everyone here, which one are you more excited for? Are you a Last of Us? And some of you might not even be any of either of these kind of fans. Are you more excited for Last of Us Part 1, or are you more excited for uh Resident Evil 4 remake? Me personally, it's it's hard because I've really loved both of them, but I've played a lot more Resident Evil 4 than I have Last of Us. I've beaten Last of Us 2 times. While it's very fun, I think the replayability with Resident Evil 4 is just higher. I personally think with the way that the game's laid out and everything, it's just a little bit easier of a game to replay. The Resident Evils tend to be like that for me. I'm a little bit more excited for Resident Evil, but at the end of the TV show for Last of Us really did make it so that it kind of put it up there. I don't know. Raichi, State of Decay 3. State of Decay period is actually fun with a controller, and on this State of Decay 2, I'm not sure if it works well on the deck. I think there was an issue when I tried it a while ago. I know State of Decay 1 works on the deck. Fumbuter, Brink, you remember when I got my PS5? Resident Evil 4 is the first game I bought for it. It also gets my vote over The Last of Us. Yeah. That's right. So, Resident Evil 4. Okay, so the Resident Evil 4 was like the original, and also the HD remasters are fun, but you're gonna notice a huge difference in gameplay. Like, there's the demo you can go play now. We did an article on it. We did. I streamed it a week or 2 weeks ago, and it was fun. It was a fun demo, and it got me really excited. Now, what it's different. It is a real remaster. Resident Evil 4 is a real remaster, as opposed to The Last of Us, where I'll have to play it. But from what I've seen of it, it's been improved. But Resident Evil 4, the beginning area has been changed completely. Like, you start out, like, it's still, the concept is you go to a cabin and all that, but the cabin is like a mansion inside. It doesn't look that big, but you get inside and it's massive. And so I'm curious what more they're gonna change in the remake. They show some of the new things right here, and so I can get it. Fumbuter, I've played the demo like 8 hours. Nice. Yeah, I couldn't play. I played through it 1.5 times. I knew that it was gonna be coming out soon, and I had so much other stuff to cover that I was like, okay, we're just gonna play it to this point, and then we're going to stop. So with this game with some tweaks plays well on the Steam Deck. We already know it plays well on the Steam Deck. We've had people report it. And so I'm really curious, though, Actually, yeah, let's look at that. I bet you there's an article out there. Deck Resident Evil 4 remake. Let's see. GG Recon. Man, there's so many bigger I don't know if this is a big publication or not, but there's a lot more big publications coming out and covering the Steam Deck. It's crazy. Come on. I don't think this. I think this one's wrong. I think came out as fast as possible. Yeah, I think a lot of these are just kind of, Necrosphere, welcome. And there's so many YouTubers that cover stuff on the deck now. Yeah, this person, Noller, which I'm assuming is this tech creator, which is self-promotion. I did self-promotion and people hated me for it, but I'll stop with that. I got the mods just didn't like me. I don't know why the mods don't like me, but they took my stuff down. Promoting the Deck Revealed project. So performance-wise, had around 35 to 40 frames per second most of the time with occasional drops, but the natural slow pace in the game made the frame rate drops less noticeable than in the first-person shooter. Latest stable. So let's see here. Yeah, there's the cryo utilities tool that could help with it. FSR2. I am curious what this. Yeah, we'd have to look at it. What is it? Do you guys know what it's set at? I haven't. Where are the settings? Aha. I'm assuming most things are set to low. Maybe a few things set to high. Or not high, but maybe medium. Yeah, there's a medium right there. Texture quality, medium. Blooms on. That could potentially be depends on what you like and what you don't like. Motion blur could be turned off if he's, yeah. I know that motion blur and bloom can hurt the performance. So yeah, it's going to be, I'm thinking if you tweak it just right, it will be close. It'll be a medium low. You'll have some stuff at medium, but a low. This is one of those games where we could even see some updates on the developer side to improve it. Resident Evil 2 and, well, honestly, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, pretty much anything on the new what is it called? Res Engine. It's not Res Engine. Everything on the Resident Evil engine, like their game engine, runs pretty decently. And so we already kind of were expecting this to run fine. And on release, it sounds like it's going to work just fine. I think Valve's already got it all wrapped up too. So Foombucher film grain effect off. Yeah, on a small screen like that, I definitely would probably turn that off. I actually like film grain effect personally. I think some games it makes it look much better, like Mass Effect. Some people don't like that. So at the end of the day, this is going to be it's going to be playable at the bare minimum, playable on the Steam Deck. So if you're looking to get this game and play it on the Steam Deck exclusively, you're in luck. It's going to play on the Steam Deck. We haven't got valid, actually, no, I don't know if people have played the whole game on the Steam Deck. I do know I've seen some people say it runs well on the deck. That being said, they could have played only for an hour. Who knows? This is a game that, once again, I'm going to be streaming all day Friday on my twitch.tv/The Brink channel. I'm even tempted to stream it on both The Brink YouTube and Twitch, but to be safe, it's on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming this all day on the PC, not Steam Deck, and then I will try this on the Steam Deck and do what you need to know. I haven't done one on the Forest and some other games because the Forest just wasn't playing well enough. I just couldn't get to work well on the Steam Deck. I know it's having problems with the Steam Deck, and I had to get a new Steam Deck. So, Reichi, film grains are great to hide imperfections in the game. It is very good to hide imperfections in the game. It makes it feel like a movie-esque. It does a lot of good. Reichi. But it can also be very annoying for a lot of people too. You lose some clarity with it. It just depends on what effect you're trying to go for. So I know that this is going pretty well. I think is a definitely, if you're a Resident Evil fan, you're going to like it. I think if you need a new game that's a brand new game, you're going to like it. And I think, but if you're going to have to choose the two, are you going to choose zombies or what they don't like to call zombies, cordyceps, right? And so in The Last of Us, I'm curious, David. No, Steam Deck first. Here's my thing, David. So, and this isn't to say anything bad about anything. The Steam Deck. If I'm going to be streaming, I don't actually like streaming on the Steam Deck. It's not a very comfortable thing. If I hook up a keyboard and mouse to it, then yeah, I'll do that. It would be very uncomfortable for me to stream this game for a very long time on the Steam Deck. Also, I want to experience it with as much graphical prowess, like as high in the graphical side of things as I can. Even in my review, I mentioned the Steam Deck is a great companion to my main PC. I play my Steam Deck a lot. Even though I had some issues with my other Steam Deck for a little bit, I play it a lot. This is one of the ones I've been playing lately. Cult of the Lamb. I really like Cult of the Lamb. I've been playing Hades, as I've been having just a very lethargic past few days where I've been working on the app and just recovering from being something. So just being a little lazy, which is, I guess, it's fine every once in a while. But I play these games on the Steam Deck. Like Dead Space, I played on the Steam Deck for a few hours, but I never beat it on the Steam Deck. I went through I probably played more than a few hours. I played a lot to test that, to do the review and what you need to know. Resident Evil 4, we'll see. Foombucher, I'm weird. I love spotting imperfections. I don't mind spotting imperfections. What it does is it makes it feel like the game is like a movie. It can make it feel like you're going to, you're like, oh, okay, this is a movie. This is real. It can make it feel more realistic for people. But yeah, the Steam Deck with Resident Evil 4 will come. I probably won't stream it because, like I said, it's not pleasant to stream the Steam Deck. It just cramps in their lap. And plus performance. If I'm playing a game, so if it's a game like Cult of the Lamb where I only play that on the Steam Deck, graphically, it's not going to matter to me on the big screen or right here, and I actually quite like it on my Steam Deck in bed, couch, or wherever it is. I like that game on the go. It's a perfect game on the go. Hades is the same way. Those games are amazing. They're great on the go. Hades is a little small. I need to adjust some of the resolution on that, but for the most part, why would I play a very graphically, and well, I shouldn't say very graphically, but why would I play a graphically gorgeous game, Resident Evil 4 The Last of Us, on the Steam Deck? This is, once again, I'm not going in on anyone. This is my thoughts on it. On the Steam Deck as opposed to my computer, especially if I'm going to be in the house and I'm fine being at my computer and I'm going to be streaming. So once again, not trying to go into anyone on that. It's my reasoning on it. And it really hasn't changed a whole lot. Wolf Cult of the Lamb is so good. It is such an easy one to just sit there if you're like feeling very unmotivated, to just sit there and just veg out for like an hour and play through and piss off your followers. Because then, if you disappoint your followers in the Cult of the Lamb, you're like, okay, well, maybe I will be less disappointing in real life to everyone else. It's kind of how I see that.
Okay. As for Resident Evil 4, um, I don't know if I have a whole lot. Like, it plays better. You guys have probably already seen footage and everything on it. Like, we've already seen it here. It looks good. Looks really good. Um, it was really hard. I will have to say the beginning area, the chainsaw area was very hard, but they've modernized it. It's fun. It has the I I'm assuming it still has like um the merchant, what you buying, what you selling. I love that dude. And so I can't wait to upgrade my miniguns, my different guns, manage the space, all that. I'm wondering if there's going to be snakes in it or not. I don't know, but all I know is that, yep, there we go. We got the merchant, the merchant of death. I like these progressive pieces to these types of games, just like this. I like being able to get the different parts, get the better guns, a little bit of action parts to it that you can see right here. I like that a lot. And then, you got Leon smoking the herb because that's how they do it in Resident Evil 4. You gotta love wow, he deflected with the knife. You gotta love, what I don't know if they thought it was like an American thing or if it's a Japanese thing. Because Resident Evil is a Japanese game. But they're like, how should we have them heal themselves? Well, it can't be a med pack. No, he's got to find herbs inside of plants and combine them with other herbs to improve, like to reduce, to heal greater amounts of health or heal poison. Oh yes, we did beat Sons of the Forest. That was a very disappointing ending, technically. I know it's not done though, and the game is great. I definitely recommend buying it, but don't beat it quite yet if you don't want portions of the maybe story to be ruined. Okay, so let's go into one more game. If you guys have any more things you want to talk about, ask or whatever it is, ask now. But we're going to go into Redfall. There is some news with this. It's interesting news. They've had hands-on, actually hands-on footage right here. IGN's one of them. The video is just gonna be a little laggy in the beginning. So I love 4-player co-ops a lot. So that I'm excited for this game. It looks like Last of Us Borderlands meets, honestly, right there. Oh, that was Dishonored. I was okay. I was like, these are the people that also did Dishonored. So some of their combat has seemed like it's a little relative to that in some ways. But it is definitely a cooperative vampire slaying Left 4 Dead-esque game with a story from my understanding. It's not like it's just purely multiplayer. I believe it has supposed to have a pretty rich story. So I'm really excited to see how this game plays on the deck. Now they had an always on feature that they said that they announced at the beginning of the year, and it was for telemetry. So what they were recording was essentially debugging information, from my understanding. They didn't want and people really need to start like getting so upset about telemetry recording and all that. I know people get really antsy about it, but from a developer side, it's so useful to know how it crashed, how many people are playing it, there's so much stuff that can come from it. I don't know what type of telemetry tools they're using, but they required it always on. So it's weird. I'm not going to say like I fully say, oh yeah, they needed always on for telemetry. Maybe it was just easier that way. I know sometimes it's just easier to take that way out. What I will say though, they've reversed it though. So they might still have maybe while it's in offline mode, they report it, or just ignore your computer altogether. If you're not going to be online, they're not going to report the telemetry. But it is nice to see that they listen to the gamers. I included was a little worried about it, and I'm not normally worried about telemetry and always on features, depending on how they do it. not usually, but it's nice to see because it's just one extra thing that's going to make it break potentially, depending on how they do the development and all that. Because we've noticed some games, it could, if you don't go online within a week or something like that, if you're in offline mode, like once you've gone online and then you go offline for a few days, it wants you to check back in or won't play with some of the DRMs. It's not very useful at the end of the day. It almost promotes piracy in some ways. And so I'm glad that they reversed it here. And DRMs almost do it. Like I bet you they promote more piracy than they prevent. There's some low effort DRM that they could do that's not going to screw things up, but at least they got rid of the always online. Now, they also got a little political with it, which I'm actually okay with. So they went through this as a metaphor of the vampires being the elite riches and all that. And it's metaphor, like with a lot of books, people don't realize like some books were written, especially 100 years ago, as metaphors or metaphoric in that you wouldn't like sometimes you can read it, enjoy it, and not think about it, but then you can relate it. And in this case, the vampires, the vampire enclaves are meant to be the rich of the world and sucking out the life of it. And I definitely do like that. I know some people aren't going to like that as much. I like that as in the sense of I've read a lot of classic books. I've read a lot of books. I enjoy a good story. I am going to now. I kind of wish I would have known it about that more as a second playthrough to experience it and then be thought provoking. I like thought provoking things, so I'm hoping that this brings up a lot of thought provoking provokingness. So yeah, I hope so. It looks so good. I'll say that. Like I'm really excited for this game. It's been Redfall's been one of my top games for the year for a while. I don't think it's gonna be best game of the year. I don't think so. But I do think it's gonna be a good game that I'm gonna enjoy. But then again, I like Back for Blood. A lot of people don't like that game. I love games like this though. And it has a skill tree. I love skill trees. It's like Borderlands meets Left 4 Dead meets something else. So potentially Prey or their other game that they made. So skill based. Oh, it's looking so good. I think this game is going to play fine on the deck. As long as their DRM's not any too weird or anything like that. You can see visually it takes a little bit more of a cartoony feel to it, which is like Left 4 Dead. In fact, this looks and they have Dishonored right there. Dishonored has a slight cartoony feel. That is how this developer works. They have their art style that they go with. They always have. It can help with performance though. And it can help like right there. Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead has a slight cartoony feel to it. That's one of the things that made it great. So this is also going to help a lot. I will say I have one gripe. It does make the people look kind of weird, but beyond that, it has an aesthetic of in a chaotic, dark world, having some levity, having some fun. So it's not taking itself too serious, which is always important, I think, in a good story. Let's get into some chats while this is still going. I'm curious who here is interested in playing this. I will be covering it, of course, as this is one of my most wanted games for the year. Anything on the most wanted list on gamesreveal.com is going to be covered by, at the bare minimum, me. We could always add more as we have brought on a new person, Cast Coder, to do articles and stuff like that. So, and then Wolf, if she has anything she wants to cover. Let's see here. Wolf. I have not played it on Wolf. I have not played it on the deck if you're talking about Sons of the Forest. If you're talking about Cold of the Lamb though. Oh, Necrosphere. You couldn't get Cold of the Lamb to work on your Steam Deck. I've been able to get it to work day one since it came out 7-8 months, 9 months, 10 months ago. I don't know. It's been a while since it's been out now. I've been able to play it since day one though on the Steam Deck. We could probably help you out with that. I guarantee it's got to work on the Steam Deck though. Raichi, what games from the PS Vita would you like to have? Honestly, I already kind of doing it. Like the Persona 3, I played Persona 3. Was it Persona 3? They already remade that for the PC. I bought it. I need to beat it. I've probably put 30, 40, maybe about 30, 40 hours. I know it's a very long game. All the Personas are very long. Into that, I'm going to go ahead and just start this over. I've put a lot of time into those game or into that game. I would like to, I have to start it over again, but I'd love to play it some more. I like that game. Uncharted, but I don't know how they're going to do that because so there's Uncharted for the PS Vita that has you use the back touchpad to climb and they use it to interact. Innovative, not the most useful piece because it's really hard to develop for, but innovative. I would like to see something like that. Borderlands 2. No, I'm just kidding. Borderlands 2, if you played that on the PlayStation Vita, it was not optimized for that. I'll post your comment up there, Raichi. Beyond that, I think there was like 2 other games I really liked for the PlayStation Vita. The PlayStation Vita, it was just nice to have a couple of games on the go. It was not like the Steam Deck has tens of thousands of games you can play on it. People don't realize how big of a deal the Steam Deck is. As it and I don't want to say it trashes every other device, like because a lot of these other devices can play the same amount of games, like or play more technically. Because you got the iNeo 2, it can play a lot of games. It can play more games on the Steam Deck because of the compatibility layer is not there. It's on Windows. It's not as fun to launch. It's just not fun to get into and play. Steam Deck, I'm right into my UI and playing it. I have my PC for complex things. When I'm on the go, when I'm doing other things, it needs to be easy for me, or I'm just not going to do it. I'll just doom scroll on my phone. And so Steam Deck has saved me partially from doom scrolling on my phone, Reddit and whatever else it is. And so PlayStation Vita was similar with that. I was able to sit down and just play games. Switch, I'm able to do that. But we've never had a device have so many games, such cheap games before, because let's be fair, no other device that's like the deck. Now, if Windows went and actually did their due diligence and made a game mode for this deck, or maybe it's just you boot directly into Steam. I don't know. That is a solution, I guess. So if you go get to iNeo 2, I don't know if there's a way to have it automatically boot into the Steam client, like when it pops up, automatically go into big picture mode, which is now it's the same thing as the Steam Deck UI. That might work. I'd be a little bit more intrigued to do that. As I play a lot of my games, especially my big games, on my PC. So, but we've never had anything quite like the Steam Deck when it comes to like a really fluid portable device with so many options. Yes, Chad, this is Redfall. Bisexual Blurred, I don't mind telemetry, but I can't stand always online. I've seen it done okay, and I've seen it done very poorly. I've had it just drop out of nowhere because it thought I was offline, even though I wasn't. Like, if it's always, it's really hard. Because I agree, like always online doesn't make sense unless you're playing with people. And maybe that's how they were doing. They're like, well, this is really, you should play with other people, with friends. That's what the point of this game is. And so we're just going to pretend like you're always online. I'm from a developer, it could be easier to do it that way, not have to deal with a bunch of other stuff. As far as it just doesn't need to be done in this case, though, with Redfall, as you don't have to play this multiplayer. So yeah, and the reason I said that about the telemetry bisexual blurred earlier was I've just heard a lot, like with the deck reveal project alone, people have complained about telemetry. They've complained about recording events, and like it's just, well, they didn't even complain. They're just like, oh, is this always going to be recorded? What is this recorded? What does this say? I'm like, I get it. It's okay to be concerned and all that, but without trying it, they didn't even know what I was taking. It's not like I can take their Steam account or anything like that. But yeah, I get it. Be cautious, but people are maybe a little too cautious. BT Maverick, welcome. Good thing about Redfall is you can play. Oh, that's really cool, BT Maverick. So good thing about Redfall is that it has cross saves through Xbox and PC and other devices. Ooh. They need more of that type of stuff, to be really honest. Raichi, games like this are better split screen. I don't agree. I do like having the option. What is the last game that's had split screen support, though? That's a game like this. I don't even think Last of Us did on the Xbox 360. I think it's on like the orange box, which is one of the best gaming deals to ever come out when it first released. But yeah, I would love to see more split screen support. Personally, it requires more work though from the developer. Oh, you're good, BT Maverick. I saw that. Glad to hear you're interested, David. Wolf's going to be addicted to Call of the Lamb once he starts playing it. Yes, Chad, man, I love how they burst into flames and ash. I agree. I fully agree with that. I love zombies. And how I justify playing this is that vampires are just another form of zombie. The Living Dead. Yes, I agree. They seem very powerful in this though. So I don't, but I'm excited to see how it goes. Ooh, I'm so excited for this game. And it's a different take on the whole genre with vampires opposed to zombies. I know that zombies and vampires are a big deal, but I'm fine with it. Like Dead Space is very unique zombie flair. As long as you can make it unique to the games, I'm fine with that. These are very unique vampires, in my opinion. They go a little less. They split these. They split these with sexy and classic vampires. You're like, that vampire's almost sexy. Oh no, that thing's creepy as fuck. So True Blue Magic Dude, they just released it was today or yesterday, some driver updates for the APU. So some AMD driver updates for Windows. So it will help fix some bugs. I don't think they went into a lot of details with it. I think part of it also comes from just AMD's released their APUs drivers that have fixed. I think it fixed. I can't remember off the top of my head very well, but it fixed something to do with emulators, I think. So is it better now? Yeah. The last time I tried it on Windows, it was fine. It worked. I have not had a whole lot of issues. We're gonna start watching our stream after that. I have not had a whole lot of issues with Windows on the Steam Deck personally. I've been able to play games on and everything on it. There's no games that I care to play on the Windows or that I can't play on the Steam OS that plays on Windows. So I don't roll with Windows right now. I will dual boot, obviously, especially since when they add first party support, I'll do it partially for content. Partially it's good to always go back and forth on it and do additional content on all that. Oh yeah, Necrosfred, I'm glad you had a great anniversary yourself. Oh, nice. BT Maverick, good. Ready for a fun move into a new house. Gonna have a wine vineyard view from my backyard. So stoked. That's awesome. You live in wine country, huh? That could be a lot of different things. Necrosphere, Brink, I love the Valve Orange box for PS3. It had all the best Valve games at the time. I hated that I had to sell it for money to GameStop when I was broke and needed the rent money. Yeah, I hear you on that one, Nexosphere. I don't think I ever owned it for the. I had friends that owned it. I had a PC, so I already had all the games. But I was tempted to. I'm a huge Half-Life fan. Everyone knows this. I'm a huge Valve fan. It's honestly one of the things that got me into covering Steam Deck, and I do cover Steam games. Fun fact is, the developers from this, Arcane. I don't know about Arcane Austin, but Arcane, some of the developers that started this, and probably still a lot that are there, came from Valve. They came from Half-Life. They weren't. I'm assuming they weren't happy with the direction of just not releasing games, so they moved on and made their own studio, Arcane. Brink, you need a high bleep button on this channel. I know I do. I technically could bleep it right here, add a little bleep button. Yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar if you have not done so yet. Blue Dude, Magic Dude, I'm on the fence of buying a second Steam Deck or buying more 3DS Wii U games before the eShop closes. What should I do? Why buy a second Steam Deck? True Blue Magic Dude. I would probably buy the. Well, if you buy 3DS Wii U games before the eShop closes, wait, why would you buy them on the eShop? Or are you going to buy them on the eShop, rip them off? Or are you looking to buy physical copies? I'd probably try getting physical copies and ripping them off. There's some, well, I don't know how hard it is to get the hardware though nowadays. Digital Diarrhea, welcome. I love reading off some people's names. I have to look this up real quick. Okay, so yeah, you're in California. Oh yeah, you're in wine country. That's awesome, BT Maverick. Going slightly off topic for a little bit, and we'll get into deck revealed, and then we'll get into playing some games. So, and today's game is Resident Evil 2, just to kind of get to celebrate getting ready for Resident Evil 4. So, BT, I've come to the conclusion if I have, because I still, I'm looking for a job, and I've opened up the chances of if I have to move back to Washington or California, I would potentially do it. But California, I mean, there's some pretty nice places you can live. I have a family. I prefer to stay in a safer place, but I'd be closer than if I lived to my family. If I moved to Southern California, I'd actually be pretty close. So I've opened it up to thoughts to do it, maybe. Not against it. I have been in the past against moving to California, but I'm not as much. But it's expensive. But I'm a software engineer, so if I get a job there, it won't be as bad. True Blue Magic Dude, buy the digital games before it closes. I think it's easier to play. So once you buy them in the digital store, you'll be able to store them on the device, like on the card. And as long as you have that card, it will just work. You don't need to validate with the eShop or anything. Okay. I mean, if that's the case, then I'd probably duplicate it on an extra card or not, because I just would not want to lose that. Yes, and Wolf is moving to the mainland, which is very new to her. Yeah, Wolf, honestly, if it was California, you'd be 2 hours closer. I'd be 2 hours closer, but yeah, as of right now, you'd be like 5 hours from where I live. Yeah. I'm just open to the idea. If I need to move, I'll move. Okay, with that, let's go over the deck revealed. I do need to send out an email. I do admit. I will admit to that. Let's see here. We can look at a little bit of code as long as I don't expose the Firebase credentials. So right now I'm using Firebase. What that really means is that it's just a database auth system. I'm using Superbase currently on the app, and while I like it, it has a lot of strong capabilities for Linux desktop, and for just some things it's kind of frustrating. And so right now I'm prototyping it with Firebase. So you're gonna get a sneak peek into the deck revealed project. Dun dun dun. So if you haven't noticed, it still has some of the heroic icons, images, the UI. I'm gonna actually release this early access preview probably the end of this week to supporters, first starting out with Pro Plus and Big Deck Energy. Then previews like the game section. I'm going to piggyback off of their Epic Launcher system, which I'm going to refine tune it a little bit. It's a little bit of a mess, and that's not against any. That is just, it doesn't look like they've done a refactor or done any tech debt, which is one of the downsides of doing open sources. If you have a lot of developers working on it, and you don't have a good coherent team structure, it can turn into tech debt. Or if it's a side project, I'm not going to say that's bad in the sense they did a bad job. They have some of it. So I'm melding through some of the code. I want the UI to be different. I don't want this to feel like it's the same app. So, and part of this is I wanted the template. I almost use it as a template so I can build, and I know it works with Steam Deck. It has Steam Deck utilities. I can essentially build the flat pack if I want to. It probably still won't start out with a flat pack in the beginning, but I am going to. Right now, I am in the middle of working on the non-Steam game adding code right here. And so when you're in an app, you can go in and you can add, let's say, I think we have Hulu. And this is one thing that Heroic is really cool with. This is really cool that Heroic has. Let's see, what is something that's really popular? Disney. I know, but they have a special URL. I've already done Netflix, YouTube. Let's do YouTube. Great. So we're going to do YouTube. Here's the title. Once you move your cursor off, it goes and automatically searches for the photo right here, which is awesome. And then we're going to do HTTPS. You're going to be able to add whatever you want. So if you have an account, you're going to be able to add whatever web, and this is for paid users. You'll be able to add whatever you want here. You'll have privacy, just so people know. I don't know what you guys are adding. I don't want to know what you guys are adding. As long as it's not illegal, then I might have a filter that gets involved. Yeah, we're going to choose entertainment. And then if we hit add, refreshes right here. This is the cool thing. It's not going to work with everything. So what is that? Wyvern? It's like Wyvern or something like that. It's a DRN system. Netflix has it. It's a pain in the ass. I have to get a license for it. What I'm going to do is start out doing it in a multi-part way where Crunchyroll, you can go in and watch a video inside of the app. I have a browser. I have a system right here. You could hit this button to bring it out of here if you want. But you can, I'm kind of curious. Let's see here. I haven't, so there's persistence layers too, where I can persist so if you sign in right here, I can persist it to a different accounts if I want. That could be a feature down the road. This is all internally in the app. This is because it's Chromium. The app itself is Chromium. It's essentially Chrome without some things added to it. It's the open source version of Chrome. Fairly close to the same thing with some DRM pieces missing. But there's a big possibility and I have to double check on all this. I could persist the layer between devices. So if you wanted to sign into the reveal, because it's going to soon become just revealed. It's going to be one app. It's going to be starting out with Steam Deck, but I want it to work on PC so you can sync your saves between it, do some additional things, right? But if you log into your YouTube account on here, if you want to persist the layer between the two accounts on PC and here, you can just use this app anywhere and just consume your media. kind of cool concept. It's something I've actually always wanted. So you know me, I if I love it enough, I'd really like to just, I'm excited. I really wish they didn't do such a cheesy thing. Oh my gosh. But you can see it works. Do full screen. You can still do full screen. If you do this, it still has this will become smaller, and it will also be nearly hideable. So don't worry about that.
In a game all about vampire slaying, it's pretty important that killing your blood-feasting foes.
But you
feels
could,
like an event
in the Steam Deck, you should be able to
That's
just
exactly what
go to another app.
done with Redfall.
If you want, if you had Spotify, let's say, go to another app, listen to your Spotify audio while you're in another game, like while you're playing a game or something like that, and go back to this. It will play inside, so you don't have to have multiple apps. And eventually, I could even do tab systems. There's a lot of things I can do that this offers. It's gonna be really cool. In fact, depending on the app, I might have a preference that says, "Hey, I recommend you just play this inside the revealed app," or if it's something inside of, this is gonna be bigger. A couple of things are gonna be bigger. Just note they're gonna be a little bit. This isn't fully fleshed out, but yeah, if we go back into YouTube, you'll see that it's gone. It's not saving the session, but we could. There's a lot of things. This is always interesting. This tiny New York City apartment goes for $650 a month. Hey, you know what? $650 a month. Well, that poor dog. There's a dog. Oh my God. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. That dog, that poor dog. I need to get off of here. There's just too much distractions. It's just funny. It reminds me of Simpsons. Simpsons had a similar thing with the apartments and all that. Living in a small little area too. Yeah. We don't need to get into that. This will have I'll build in persistence later, so you can sync it between your different devices if you want. I don't want to go too far into those features, as I have other features I need to get done. And those are mainly syncing emulators. So what this doesn't have yet is, you'll see it doesn't have utilities yet. And I'm going to sync all the apps that are currently there. So I have my apps in a different database. I'm going to sync the database over to here. And then I'm going to need a lot of the code that I had over there for installing utilities and all that, I need to bring it over here and just make sure things get persisted and saved, so you know what's been installed and what's not. So there's still a little bit more work, but web app version wise, I'm going to release it to for early access for Pro Plus and more, and Big Deck Energy. If you have a Pro account, you'll get it before everyone else. Now I know I have the current beta version of Deck Revealed with the old Flutter system open for everyone. It's going to stay that way. What I'm doing is I'm giving you early access to essentially what you can think of like kind of as an alpha of this new system. The new system really is just going to make it so that I don't have to worry about some of the issues. Also, this one works with a controller. I'll show you here in a second. There's a whole controller system. That's another thing. Web Technologies works really well with controllers. Flutter does not. Some of these UI systems do not work well with controllers. This one does. While it's a little not perfect for me, I don't like the way it outlines things. You can see everything. If I wait, okay, it filters, has an onboard keyboard that pops up that you can actually use this for. Or I'm hoping to detect, I don't know how much they detect Steam Deck. I'm hoping that it detect the Steam Deck and show the Steam Deck's keyboard as opposed to the built-in one on this one, because it's not like it matters that much. But it is cool that it has a digital keyboard. It has the menus, kind of like how I was doing at the bottom. So you'll see some things change. But hopefully not too much. It's just going to expedite. Like, I had to take a couple weeks off to do this and to get it into a good state for doing web applications and utilities for Steam Deck. Once we hit that, like back to where it was with the original app, then we're going to get back into syncing stuff. So I'm excited about that. This has some utilities built into it too that are going to help with that too. So, yeah, we're gonna have some good stuff going on here. You can right click on it. I think long press might also be another thing on the deck. I don't know, but you're going to be able to open in browser. So you'll be able to open it into a browser, which would be your default browser, which I have to double check to make sure it works on Steam Deck, because Steam Deck's default browser system doesn't work very well. And then also I'm going to be adding it into, this is kind of the code, and I haven't fully flushed it out yet. It's going to be similar to what I already have, but it's going to be adding it to Steam. I think they have to reset it too. Don't they restart it? I'll have to double check with all this. But it's essentially going to add it to Steam with Chrome. Eventually, maybe not eventually, maybe I can try to put it in as soon as possible so you can do it with Firefox instead. If you want to add it to Steam, because like I said, Netflix doesn't work. Like it doesn't fully work. You'll go into a video, try to watch it, and it'll say DRM needs to be valid license. Like it needs to be license valid. Well, it doesn't even say that. The error essentially means that. So my next step, once I get this out, really going well enough and then test it, I'm going to then contact Wyvern, which I'll have to. I'm hoping. I don't think it costs anything, but it could take a few months to get the license. Once I get the license, then hopefully pretty much almost all your media can be consumed in here. I haven't tested game stuff yet inside of this, like with controller support. I haven't tested this with controller support fully yet. Like you'll see it right here. It doesn't. You'll see it kind of does work. So if you want controller support, we'll see. That becomes a little hairier. I'd have to look into on web views. Okay, that is it for the deck revealed update. Let's go into some chats, see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, let's keep those likes up, peeps. Necrosphere, I don't know if it's worth buying. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on Steam since it's under $5, but I already own it on EA app. I think it's worth buying on Steam. That's a freaking good deal. It's like $3, isn't it? $3.50. But I already own it on the EA app, and not sure if it makes a difference owning it on the Steam version. The EA app, if you want to play it on the deck, the EA app is I don't even know if people are getting it to work on the deck right now. Are they? So not 100% sure, but I personally have bought games on EA, like through EA and all that. Wow, there is some weird stuff that I can't recommend it. The EA app that I just bought again in Steam because I just don't like dealing with. I like going to one place. I don't have to, and this is honestly, this has Epic and GOG in it. I would like to add additional launchers into this, and I'm also going to scrape the Steam, like how I was doing with the deck revealed Flutter version. I want to include the Steam games also in here. So hopefully on the Steam Deck, what we'll do is you'll have to use the launcher to install, like the Steam client to install, but once it's installed, you'll have one place to kind of go. Battle.net, it's going to be similar. You're going to have to launch the Battle.net from here, install it, and then once it's installed, hopefully I can just show you StarCraft if you want to play StarCraft. So I know there's already systems that kind of do that, but it is nice for when you're trying to deal with modding and all that, which should come later down the road. Depends on how complex we're going to get with that. M2J, for controller support on the websites, I just use the web browser Steam input settings. Yes. And that's the thing. With this, I don't know how it's all going to work, but I'm assuming this is going to be a little different potentially. It's going to be a little different. So we'll see, like in app, that's my kind of my point of it's nice to have this, because when you like before with the current deck reveal project, you have to go and select mouse and keyboard input. With this version, the default controller one will just work. Now, I'd be curious to see if you want full functionality with web view, if switching over to the browser input helps even more. We'll have to see. There's a lot of finagling and stuff that still needs to test, but at least default wise, this will work. Bare minimum, it can launch a new browser like I was doing before, but I want to give you guys options. So maybe in the settings, I can give you options in here. So Wolf, dominate the sub button if you haven't already hit the bell so you at school. You've been watching Mr. Ballin, haven't you? Man, he loves to do those like button little stories, essentially skits to like, or questionable nature things that he does with that. Okay, that's all I have for today's show. I am going to stream Resident Evil 2 for a little bit. I can't guarantee how long. Yeah, there you go, Wolf. I'm not surprised. Mr. Ballin is an interesting. I haven't watched Mr. Ballin in a little bit. I like his stories. I'm glad that he's big. He's big now. It's awesome. So twitch.tv/th3brink. I'll get to Raichi real quick, but we're gonna go over there in a few minutes. Raichi, do you have any recommendations for retro gaming in Linux? I'm using an old IBM T60 to play 1990 and 2003 games. Depends on what game. Like, are these PC based games or? It depends. It all depends on what the game is. Like, I've played some game like StarCraft, or like I've gotten StarCraft to work. I've gotten old games that were probably late 90s, maybe early 2000s. Sacrifice, the game Sacrifice, loaded it up through a CD drive ISO on my computer, worked fine, or on Steam Deck, and worked fine. If you can get them to install or use the installer or like add to Steam's installer, all that system, man, that would be another cool feature to add. There'd be a lot of cool features to add to this, like if someone puts a CD in to automatically make an ISO out of it, or I don't know, maybe you don't even need to make an ISO out of it. Essentially, run the exe installer through Proton, launch it with Proton. Might be able to get a lot of things to work that are old school. Okay, Necrosphere. Yeah, no, that makes sense. With the, I got it free on EA app, so it's not like I'm double dipping my wallet. I think I get it. Yeah. I also think the developer, it's so cheap that hopefully the developers are even getting something from it. But I've always liked supporting developers. Yep. So hopefully, Raichi, I'm not going to be able to help you much more than that without knowing specifics in which game, because it all depends on the game, whether or not you can get it to work through Steam Deck, through Proton. But a lot of old games do work through Proton pretty easily. Okay. With that, guys, I am done. I am going to take a quick break. I'll see you over. If you want to see, or if you want to chat with me some more, chat about games, whatever it is, life, love, happiness, the pursuit of significant others, whatever you want, we can chat about it over there. But yeah, twitch.tv th3brink. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming, and you guys are awesome. I'll get you guys next time. Peace out. Later. And awkward silence for LoJack. I agree, bisexual blurred. I really want this deck reveal project to grow even more. I'm really excited for it. Vampire Survivors plays pretty well on about anything Necrosphere, so that's cool. That runs on there pretty decently. Peace out, guys.